All right. So, at the time of recording, there is 9 days left to season 6, and season 7 is soon to come. Now, season 7 is going to be quite the little meta shift or meta expansion, I guess, in a way. You will see a lot more teams, at least more in the whale side. I think it's going to be very difficult for free to plays to keep up with all the teams, but I don't think it's bad to talk about all the units coming. I think all 4 units have a place on a team now or in the future, and it's going to be pretty good. I'm very excited for it. I will be there to actually record when season 7 comes out, but unfortunately for the patch notes, if there's anything new, hopefully my copium is really pulling through for me right now and making me hope that we will be getting some new content maybe in season 7. If not, anniversary is right around the corner, end of May, so literally like a month away until anniversary. Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, or half anniversary on global, anniversary on JP. But yeah, we got 9 days left, and let's talk about it. So these are the units that we know are coming. So this is more guesstimate dates, right? Please do keep that in mind. But we got up to technically season 9. So season 7, we've got Mimosa and William, and then Zora and Vanessa. Those are the 4 main units coming. Now, the one problem is that we don't know and won't know because now the vanilla isn't leaking anymore, unfortunately, about the accurate dates. So it is possible that we get seasonal reruns end of May, but we have no idea, right? Now, one thing's for sure though, season 8, we're going to be getting Noelle and Real unless they decide to switch it up. And then Spirit Eye Vuno for anniversary technically as the festival unit. And then we should be getting a Black Asta rerun. So May and June is going to be a pretty good time. And then season 9, for now we know that Nozel and Kohono's coming. Now, the main units that we're talking about in this video are these 4 and how exactly they help out a bunch of teams, okay? All of these units have a place on a certain team, and Vanessa and Zora for sure have multiple different teams, or at least Zora has a lot of teams. Vanessa has a good amount of teams that actually will work pretty well. So let's get into it, okay? These units obviously are coming April 30th, no question about it, because in 9 days and 15 hours is when this banner or when the season ends, right? Now, pretty interesting that Mario goes a bit into season 9. So we'll be able to see, or you're going to be able to see if you want to do more summons. If not, then you're fine to save a bit more for Zora and Vanessa. But hopefully, I'm really hoping Season 7 has more than just this. Like, either in more units or more content. I just need something more for Season 7 because Season 6 was a bit of a dud. But at least for me, Mario came, and Mario is a bunch of content to make for sure. Not a question about it, right? Mario, like, the amount of videos that I have pre-recorded already, just to show you guys, at the time of recording, I got 4, but I think I'm going to have another 3. Because obviously, I'm planning ahead now. But listen, I'm really enjoying Mario. So let's get into it, get into the units, get into the cases where you would summon, right? I really want to kind of hone in on all their teams, right? So I think it's going to be good to focus in on these 4 units much longer. I'm going to be, I'm going to talk a bit about if you should summon. But it's mainly going to be their teams now. Like how exactly they work as units. So I'll break them down for you. This is going to be more of a breakdown video than if you should summon. Like, you could obviously, like, the units you mainly want to summon on between these 4 in my opinion is going to be Zora. That's the only one you really want to summon on. But if we'll talk a bit more about it. So William, actually, I think is a pretty good unit. Okay, now on release he's gonna suck. I'm just gonna say it now. I feel like Noelle's release greatly helps him, but William is still going to be pretty good, okay? You're going to want to use him with Zora too. So, like, on release, he's pretty much unusable because you want Zora and Noelle, for sure. But William is going to do a lot. So, he works very slow. He's a defender. He's got 100 speed, so that is unfortunate. But there's some pretty good stuff about him. First of all, his skill 1 gets increased damage dealt per 1,000 defense. Now, you're going to probably see, all depending, from, like, 50 or like 40 to 70k defense, okay, on him without buffs, I think, because if we consider just looking at it, right, okay, so if there's any defense increases, which there probably will be, like, where is it, Black Asta, he's got about, oh wait, he doesn't have defense gear, hold on, if we go to just someone like this, so like he'll be about 30k defense. But then if we put defense skill page on him, that's easily like 50-60k. So you could probably get pretty high, right? So it's going to do a lot of damage. Like, usually this is doing 30 to 40k, and it's pretty good. Now, if counterattack is present on an ally, grants them an 80% defense increase buff for 1 turn, which is actually pretty good. Pretty sure that's on the whole team, but I can't verify for you for that right now. But this is actually a very nice one. This skill 1, you'll see my mono blue video showcases that I do end up using this skill 1 a lot, because the way that this mono blue team works is just everyone's doing damage simultaneously. Now the skill 2 is only good really if you're on a counterattack version of this team, but in the future you're not necessarily going to be. But if you're using luck on it, then yes, you will. So if counterattack is present on self, you inflict taunt on a target for 2 turns. So the taunt is actually going to be very good on William, especially if you pair Zora with William, and then you put reflect on William, and then William's taunted, or William taunts someone else, and then they have to attack William, and then that's guaranteed reflection. But if not, it's nothing crazy, right? The skill 2, I think you're going to be using with the skill 1 much more. But then you could also apply barrier block. But single target barrier block to me isn't anything crazy, but it is for 2 turns. But the thing is, Noelle also has it, the Clover Academy Noelle, so it's not a necessity in my opinion. Now the ult does become pretty good, giving debuff immunity for 2 turns and damage reduction. Okay, now per counterattack on everyone, you're going to be able to give damage reduction, right? Pretty sure it's only a 1, you can only apply 5%. It's not like 5% per counterattack, which is unfortunate. If it was, it would be a lot better, but still you're able to get 5% extra on everyone. Now you're also able to extend counterattack. Now this is only good if you're using luck with William. If not, it's not really going to be that good. And the problem with it is I really do think that we're going to get another DPS in the future that's blue, and then William's going to kind of lose value unless there's counterattack on that unit too. Now the thing is, Noelle is also working as a bit of a DPS that's also able to like reduce their damage. So Noelle is a debuffer who's able to do some damage, but mainly is going to be there to debuff and let everyone do damage at the same time. That's the main thing that is very cool. Now, he has a 60% chance to stun AoE, which is pretty cool. Now, he does also put protection to the person with a high sol attack if everyone's on mono blue, so that's pretty cool. Now, honestly, I don't like his dupes. Giving shock isn't really good. Like, applying shock to everyone if everyone's on mono blue isn't really even that good, even if you're using luck, okay? The way that they want you to use this, it's really stupid. This is honestly one of the worst dupes I've seen on a premium unit. Is the fact that luck at max dupe, if you attack someone with a dot, then he gets 8 SP. Now, the way that this is basically playing is that they're telling you to use the ult turn 1 on luck. But why would you do that when if you use the skill 2, then you use the ult on William, then you're getting the counterattack extension, you're getting the extra damage reduction. So you want to use the luck skill 2 first and not the ultimate. But if you use the skill 2, you have no value for the shock, so it's pretty pointless. Now the dupe 5 is going to be giving 30% damage increase if counterattack is present on them, which is actually quite a lot better when they take damage. So that's actually pretty good. But the dupe 2 just is pointless. This could have, if this was actually good, I think William would have been way better, but it is what it is. So William is actually going to play very well. And the reason being is going to also be because of Zora, which we'll get into. So once I finish Zora, we'll talk about the mono blue team in large. But yeah, no, I've actually showcased William now compared to the last time I actually talked about this unit. I actually did showcase about it. So this video is just going to be me geeking out on the units coming up. But I really do like William. Now, the reason is, if we really check it, right, if we go to blue, right, the blue SSR team that I've been trying, so William, Noelle, Party Noelle, and Zora. So Zora's going to apply the reflections, that's damage. Noelle is able to do damage. William's doing damage, and then Noelle's healing everyone. So that team is going to be super good, right? Super good. And even if you use luck instead of Noelle, then it's working even better in some cases with William, because William is going to be able to extend the counterattack. Luck's going to get his 70% damage reduction, and then Noelle's going to also be able to get the counterattack buff for the defense increase, so it's going to work even better. But it's not a necessity. Like, William, even without it's very good because he has high defense, high survivability. You're going to be able to use William, and especially Zora giving the defense level 5 buff, it's going to be good. Now let me not talk about Zora just yet, and let's go on to the next unit, also coming out April 30th. Now Mimosa, I think, has a bit less usability. She is pretty good. At the time of this video coming out, I think that the Mimosa video should already be out. Okay, so you're gonna be able to see Mimosa and Vanessa together with Mara Leona, providing a bunch of stuff. So I don't really need to talk about it in great detail, but she's gonna be a pretty good healer at max dupe. She's insane. Now, what she's gonna do is just, well, give a healing skill 1. Skill 2 is also gonna heal, but for 100% of her HP, which is insane, because that's like almost a 200k heal in some teams. Now, what is really cool, in my opinion, is this part and this part. So being able to remove HP reduction is pretty good. Now the problem with this skill is that it's a single target. Okay, it's only single target buff. Unfortunately, it's not AoE. I would have rather less healing, but for AoE, or at least this be AoE. So she dispels all dot effects from the ally, not all allies, just the ally that you're targeting. That's also getting the heal and the HP recovery reduction removal. But this is very good. Being able to remove all dots basically means that against certain teams that have the Fuego skill page or just Fuego himself, you're going to be able to save one person from dying in a lot of cases. Now with the skill page, you're also applying defense penetration buff for 2 turns. So that's going to be pretty good too. But overall though, I feel like this skill 2 is what really cucks her over. If not, they should have just made this an AoE. Same HP ratio, but it should have been AoE, and Mimosa would have been 10 times better. 10 times better. Like, she would have been the most solid S tier unit ever. Now, the ult, though, is very strong. It's a 100% heal resurrection. And let's say you don't want the res, well, you could remove a stun, which could be just as good and save your whole team. So, keep that in mind. Either or, you're getting a 100% res or your stun removal. You're putting a stun removal on anyone. Now, the combo too is actually really interesting, where it applies 3 SP increase to the partnered mage. So if you're using this from yourself, you're using 6 SP, but whoever you're putting it with is getting 3 SP, which could be, in some cases, game-changing. Now, her main things is really that she probably does want to be a max dupe. Unfortunately enough, it's really good. Now, the main part of her kit, though, is this, that she gives invulnerability to the person with the high soul attack. All this is good, right? All this is good, especially the res. The res you'll see come into play quite a lot. But this invulnerability is insane. Stopping turn 1 damage is just really strong, especially when William is just such a powerhouse. So definitely it is something to consider, right? This invulnerability is going to come into play, especially if you use it with Vanessa. If you're very smart about it, if you have Mimosa max dupe, if you have Vanessa max dupe, this team is going to be crazy. But it's just such high investment. That's the main problem. Black Clover really didn't account for the fact that, like, people weren't going to max dupe everything. And the problem is, like, if the unit isn't really good at max dupe and they aren't going to be usable, right? Or the max dupe isn't even going to make it the best unit in the game, then there's just no point for summoning, which is the case. But with this, right, getting 1 SP every time it's Mimosa's turn, and when she dies, getting 100% HP heal, being almost a 200k heal on everyone, is cracked. But it's just so much investment. And then it's not even like this mono green team's the best, which is really the problem with this game, in my opinion. For sure. Like, no doubt about it. This is for sure the problem with Black Clover Mobile. But it is what it is. I don't really know what else to say, but it is what it is. Definitely, though, this Mimosa is decent. But her biggest op is definitely the fact that she could get taunted so easily by Black Asta, Mario, anyone, etc., etc. And then she's just not able to use her ult or skill too. And then it's rough, right? It's rough. But still, Mimosa, just this invulnerability definitely gives her some type of value in a lot of team comps. Now, Vanessa, we're moving on more so to mid-May. And this one is definitely when these 2 units are going to be more of a meta change or more of a meta expansion, like I wanted to say. William allows Mono Blue to start when Zora comes out, and then Mimosa is going to allow for Mono Green to really expand a little bit at least. You're going to see a lot of teams with Mimosa for sure. Now, Vanessa, what does she do? She is going to basically be giving invulnerability, immortality, and a lot of SP. So, skill 1 applies 2 SP to the person with the highest all attack. You're going to see this come into play so much. I've used it a lot, right? I'm pretty sure did I do a video with, like, Vanessa and Charlotte just getting back Mario's ult super quickly. It's really insane how quick you could get back the ult with this 2 SP every time it's on the skill 1. And it can't be blocked, right? It's a skill 1, total silence isn't blocking it, taunt isn't blocking it, so that's good. Now the skill 2, I definitely think you would need the skill page for it to be very good, but you have a 100% chance to put the Blessing of Protection on all allies, which when damage is blocked, it restores HP by 8% of max HP, which is actually pretty good. It's a mini heal, but over a lot of hits could be very good, and it does apply total defense for 1 turn. If this was 2 turns, then the skill page would have been way better, but for right now, it's just good enough, right? That's for sure. Now it's the ult. The ult is the main point of Vanessa, being the invulnerability to all allies for 2 turns, right? This is going to be insane, right? You stop someone from taking damage for 2 turns. It's just insanity, right? Insanity. This is definitely one of the best ults, but it's easily blockable by taunt, which is very funny. But if you use it turn 1, usually you won't have taunt applied, and it's going to be good, right? You can put this on anyone, and you're going to be able to save just anyone, right? I like it. I really, really do like it. Even at 0 dupes, she is actually very good. But also, just quick note, she does have immortality removal on her combo, which can come into play sometimes. But then it's really her passives, right? It's the dupe 2 and then her normal LR passive. And also dupe 5, actually. It's pretty much her whole passive section. So her LR passive is her putting immortality on every defender unit on the team when it is mono green, which is insane. It's just the Witch Queen effect, but for mono green. Which is like, is Mono Blue gonna get that soon? Like, okay, that's gonna be interesting. I wonder who would give it. Like, if we get a Federal, bro, oh my god, I just got so excited. I don't know when this video is coming out. It should be before the 24th, so it should be before the reveal. But if a Federal has a Mono Blue buff, that could be so good. Oh my god, I actually really want Federal to be blue. I really do. Wow, if Federal's blue, then we're eating. Yeah. If I really want a Federal now. Federal Mono Blue having this passive would be crazy. Okay, anyway, Vanessa going to be very good with this. Allowing Mariel to get this is just toxic, right? So it's really good. But then it's the dupe 2 that also makes it very good, where she gives 50% mobility to a defender mage at the start of every turn. Well, at the start of every time it's Vanessa's turn. Mariel's going to be attacking super quick with this, going to get multiple turns in, and it's going to be insane. But then when she dies, very similarly to Mimosa, she's giving an insane buff. Mimosa heal, Vanessa giving the SP +8. So if Mariel lives, then you get 8 SP plus a full heal on Mariel. So just consider that. And she's pretty quick, 110 speed. Vanessa's going to be really good. Like this skill 1 also is definitely one of the best in the games. 2 SP is just so toxic, right? It's nice. It is really nice. This Vanessa is going to be good. Honestly, just looking at it so far, honestly, most people should be skipping William unless they want to build Mono Blue. Like if you're building Mono Blue, then go for that. Building Mono Green, or if you have Mariel, just go for Mimosa. Most of the people will be going for Mimosa, but in this case, Zora and Vanessa, like, should you really summon? Honestly, I mean, Vanessa's good, but it's just nothing like S+. You're not meta tier, so it's just not insane levels for me. I don't think it's a necessity, but in some cases in PvE, she will be good because of this immortality. Sorry, invulnerability, but definitely not a necessity. Now, Zora, for PvP, honestly, I could see him going into S+ for PvP. I mean, I wouldn't put it against him, right? He's just so good with his skill page. Okay? I do think his skill page makes big gaps between him with and without. So do keep that in mind, that you would need his skill page for him to be really good. But let's talk about what he does, okay? So his whole thing revolves around giving buffs of reflective trap to allies. Reflective Trap will be giving 20% damage reduction regardless of the level, and there's level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 is going to reflect 150% of the original damage, okay? Original damage. Now, original damage to me basically means that it's not counting buffed, like all the buffs that are going to reduce the amount of damage. So you're going to end up like reflecting a lot of damage back in a lot of cases. I'm not sure. I think it just means the damage you do. But sometimes I feel like I'm doing more damage than I should. But even just like doing 30k, this is like what? 45,000 damage you're reflecting back. And then level 2 is doing 225%, and level 3 is 300% of the original damage. It's basically like if you even do some amount of damage, it's just an insta kill, right? It's so strong. This reflection really makes it so that the enemies have to play in certain ways. But definitely very good. Now, what's very interesting too is that every time you're hit with reflection on you, it also puts SP -1. So, you know, please do consider that. It's toxic. It is toxic, especially on the skill 2. So let's talk about it. Now, anyway, so 20% damage reduction, reflecting damage, and SP -1. Very strong buff, right? Very strong. Now, the skill 2 is what makes it crazy. It's an AoE, okay? AoE buff. Now, we have to consider it with the skill page. Please, with the skill page. What it does, SP -1 on all enemies, magic attack reduction level 1 on all enemies for 2 turns, 100% chance for debuff immunity for 1 turn, and then you put the reflection level 2 on all allies, which means 20% damage reduction and 225% reflection. Okay. This turn 1, if you're on mono blue, is insane. He is quicker than William. Teaser, he's quicker than William. So, you put that, William combo Mariel, William's dead. No one takes much damage. Reason being, he puts 20% damage reduction and lowers Mariel's magic attack. It's toxic. It's very toxic. And then if you combo that, for example, with Halloween, with Clover Noel, who puts 35% damage lower on all enemies, not just attackers, it's really good. Now, continuing on, it's just such a good thing because it's on all allies. So if everyone's taking damage, even if it's reduced, who like William's dead. So essentially, if William applies the combo when Mariel does the damage, William is still the one taking all the brunt of the reflection. Keep that in mind. Now the alt is really good for mono blue with William. Okay, with William, and that's because Zora applies a level 5 defense increase, which is a 245% defense increase. So that William is doing 245% more damage, essentially, because of the 8% damage increase, about. And not even just that, he's doing a lot more. So he's putting level 3 Reflection Trap on the person, which obviously is going to be, well, obviously, it's going to be 20% damage reduction plus 300% reflection. 300% on one person could still be crazy. For example, if William taunts and then they're forced to attack William, well, then 300% of that damage is reflected. It's insane. And then the weapon disarm, level 3. So it's going to be doing a lot of stuff, but it's only single target, right? Which is unfortunate. If this was even 2 people, this would be so much crazier, and he would be like S++, I think. But it's such a little change that would change so much. But even just single target, it's very good. Now, him too, his biggest opposition is taunts. Because if he can't buff, then it's unfortunate, right? He is a debuffer, but still, 2 of his skills are buffing skills, but they have SP minus, and they have weapon disarm, and they have magic attack lowers, so just keep all that in mind. And him too, just like Vanessa, removes immortality from an enemy after attacking, which it's much more influential on him because of the fact that he's blue. I have something in my throat. I'm sorry. He's blue, and he wants to, well, obviously attack mono red, so it's going to be very strong. Now, when he's on mono blue, he gets 15 speed, so he's going to be at 127 speed. William's max speed is 126, so he's the new quickest unit in the game on mono blue. Insane. Now, his dupes are actually even crazier, like way crazier, if anything, in my opinion. So the dupe 2 is going to be giving 30% damage reduction when trap is on himself at the start of a turn. So if it's active at the start of his turn. So turn 1 he can't get it, but turn 2 he can get it if he uses the AoE. If he uses the AoE with the skill page turn 1, then he gets reflection and it's good. And then he gets 30% damage reduction, which is going to be very influential, honestly. Now the dupe 5 applies buff block to the DPS with the highest all attack for 1 turn. Buff block is insane. You stop damage reduction, you stop anything, you stop defense increase on Black Asta if he's the only DPS and there's no Charmy. You stop a bunch of stuff. And on teams where it's real and not Charmy in the future, once we get real, once we get this Clover real, well, then the buff block will usually or should go on Black Asta, which then means Black Asta cannot get any defense increases, and it's going to be pretty much GG. Like, he won't be doing that much damage to mono blue. So definitely Zora is a unit that's pretty much, I'd say, someone who which every account should have. And honestly, I think that out of the 4, you're fine just summoning on Zora and then choosing Mimosa from the gateway. That's probably the best way to go about it. Vanessa is very good, but I just don't think going for both of them is ideal, especially if you want to get Zora max dupe. That's more of a like a personal thing. Zora at 0 dupes works very well, but at 2 dupes I think is when he starts to become good. But at the very least, you want Zora 0 dupes with his skill page, right? His skill page could sometimes put increased defense when he's attacked by an enemy, right? But the biggest thing for me, in my opinion, is for sure the fact that it applies the reflective trap on all allies. If this was 2 turns, Zora would have been, I think, like number 1 in the game. But because it's 1 turn, it's definitely more balanced. But it makes more sense, right? You're able to play Zora in many different situations. And the amount of teams he's going to be good on is insane, right? He's going to work with Mario, Black Asta, Mono Blue especially. And he's going to be the true enabler for Mono Blue, in my opinion. It's going to be crazy. Mono Blue finally starts. Finally. But then you also see some expansions in mono green, and then we get to some pretty exciting times later on. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's just, it sucks how like mono blue still isn't number 1 and how high investment you need compared to other teams for it to even be considered like usable, especially because of how much new investment it is, right? So it's very unfortunate, but still very good. Let me know what you guys are going to be doing. What do you guys plan to do? Vanessa is definitely good, but she's not on any like meta teams. There is also a team I saw though with Fuego, where she immortalities Fuego, and then Fuego just, even if he's silenced, like he has basically like 4 turns of life because of the immortality. So a lot of things to consider. Vanessa could be good with Fuego. I'll be showing that team off maybe soon. We'll see how I feel about it. But that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. What do you guys plan to do? I think most people will be going for Zora. Now, can you skip them? For sure. If you do skip them, that is a fine thing to do. We'll see how exactly or what exactly the new pickups are very soon on JP. And I'm really hoping these guys are as good as Zora. Both of them as good as Zora. I really need more non-mono meta units that still work on mono teams, right? I really wish that they would do the thing where I recommended, or just I said, where there should be two buffs. One buff if they're on mono, one buff if they're off mono. Kind of like how Black Asta's anti-magic works, where one buff is when he has anti-magic, one buff when he doesn't have anti-magic. They should do it for passives, where on mono and off mono, there's two different sets of buffs. I think it would be very good. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.